record my rap vocals like a rock star.
I plugged the mic in, flipped a couple switches and started rhyming. It wasn't right then, but I kept writing, knowing I had to put the time in to earn my stipend. Do your guy a solid one time, subscribe and like this.
So anyway, I was mad late to the game when it came to how the game has been recording vocals, right? When I first started recording myself, all I knew was microphone, recording medium. Because up to that point, I would just go to a studio. I don't ever remember even paying attention to what microphone they had set up for me, except one time when they told me. And coincidentally, that one time it happened to be a C800G way back in 2006, 2007, something like that. But anyways, I never really paid attention to what mic they had. It had a mic, and it was going into usually a computer or a console. My idea of a studio was microphone, headphones, speakers, faders, sometimes a screen, right? I just knew what it was supposed to sound like. And so when I first started recording myself, all I got was a microphone, a AKG C1000S that, yes, I do have still, and still do use. You just heard it on She a Jerk, my latest single. Go get that. And I got a Boss BR1180 CD, because you got to be able to burn the CD. You know what I'm saying? And I already had this ASR 10, my baby, that I still have all these years later. I make the beat, 8 tracks on that, bounce it to 2, then I got 6 tracks left. Main vocal, ad-lib, overdub, main hook, ad-lib, overdub. And I still use that 6-track vocal technique largely to this day. That's where I learned that, because it was limited to 6. I didn't start looking at things like preamps and EQs and compressors, especially not on the way in, until probably I had quit rapping for like 10 years and went back to it, decided to rebuild myself a studio. And so my second studio, when I was recording into an iPad with Aria, still the best iPad DAW to this day, FYI. Cubasis could kiss my ass, for real. Not that they bad or nothing, but just Aria is just way, way, way better. But anyways, I digress. That's when I started looking at signal sweetening things. You know what I'm saying? And then a couple of years after that, I started looking at what the industry had been using. I learned that the classic hip hop signal chain was a Neumann U87 going into a Avalon 737 SP. And I, over time, developed my opinion on my personal opinion on that sound. And then I learned about what's now still, I think today, the hip hop vocal chain standard, which is the C800G, which I had some experience with back in the day, going into a 1073, a Neve 1073, and then into a Tube Tech CL1B, sometimes with a DS or a DBX. DS or in between there somewhere. But I didn't actually learn about this stuff until late. As a matter of fact, when I first heard about the C800G signal chain, I assumed in my mind that it was some typical rap nigga bling bling shit. You went and looked and was like, let me get the most expensive mic and the most expensive compressor. But I don't know how the 1073 got inserted in there, because I could think of some more expensive preamp EQs, but that's what I assumed. I was wrong. I didn't realize the pedigree, and that it does, because the mic obviously has a shimmery, really shiny, bright signal, and then the 1073 does kind of round off some harshness, and at the same time kind of puts its own kind of gloss on things. And then you got the CL1B, which does a shiny thing. That's what I'm calling it now. I'm just really recently getting hip to what it sounds like, because I brought it I put it on my own voice in my own studio and heard it and was like, oh, okay, I see. It's a shiny thing. But I say all that to say this: the way I'm recording vocals now, I think, is very Rockstar-esque, right? Because I follow Produce Like a Pro and all them dudes that are they did the rock stuff. Sylvia Massey, you know what I'm saying? They the legends of rock and roll recording and engineering, you know what I'm saying? I followed all them and I like that. Like, I like the grit. I like the a little bit of dirt on my stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so right now I'm going into a SM57. It's got the elbow mod on it, but it's just a regular SM57 as far as how it sounds. And the Arturia Audio Fuse 16 rig is routing it through the HA81A, which is a 1073 style preamp, and paired up with a 1081 style EQ, so 4 bands instead of 3, and all of them variable. And then going into the 17 side of the B17-2A, so the 1176 clone. Rock and roll, right? You know what I'm saying? And I this is how I'm doing my rap right now. And so I just wanted to kind of share that out to YouTube, because I don't find a whole lot of videos out there about hip hop signal chains that are not some variation of the two that have been the standard. And I get it, but A, both of them signal chains are very, very, very expensive. And B, that might not be your sound. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was in that studio using that C800G, I'm pretty sure they were not using a 1073. Matter of fact, I am sure, because I spoke with them recently. They just had that mic going into their console that they had. And I remember they had to put some kind of effect on my voice to make it sound dirtier and grittier, because I was not feeling what I was hearing back in the headphones. You know what I'm saying? I did AWAC MC and Nasty in there with Chop on that mic. And on both songs, they had to run some effect. I remember him putting something on it that changed how my voice sounded drastically. And I was like, okay, yep, cool, let's run with that. Put the beat on, boom, and just knocked it out. And so I knew already that mic was too bright for me. And then on the other side of things, the Neumann U87 and Avalon combo, in addition to also being outside of my price range, let's not lose sight of that fact, right? I know that's the Jay-Z signal chain amongst others, you know what I'm saying? And though I like how smooth and consistent it sounds, I'm not a huge fan of how dull it sounds overall. You know what I'm saying? And so for me personally, neither of those signal chains were ideal. And I just feel like it's probably a lot of other people out there that feel the same way. And when you go out there and you look, oh, well, such and such, who they use, what signal chain they use, everybody say the same thing. You got to get a C800G, a Neve 1073, and a CL1B. I just learned yesterday that the 1176 can do that shiny thing. If you put the attack all the way slow and the release all the way fast, oh wait, no, other way around. The release all the way fast and the attack all the way slow, it does that shiny thing, but with some gravy on it. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, this is what I'm doing. And if it's other out there that feel me on it, stay tuned, because you're going to hear this signal chain a lot moving forward. One love.